Right. Good evening, everybody. Do ask us any questions, and welcome to We'll Introduce You to Zwift. Hello, Jordan. How are you?
I'm very well, Rob. How are you?
All good, thank you. All good. Had a nice weekend. Getting ready for work soon.
Fantastic. I've had another fun week of training and staying at home, as we all should be. We're not making any trips. So, yeah, I'll everybody obviously other than myself.
As you'll see, if you post your comment, your message will come up on the screen, and we'll be able to ask any of our riders any questions you might have.
Yeah. Okie dokie, so everyone's muted, so it should just be me and you now. Yeah. Is it on the? Is it on YouTube? Yeah, on Twitch. Okay, let me just refresh it. So that should be now live. Keep saying it's live again in a few moments. Is that my end or is that? Okie dokie. It's there. Let's try Twitch. So.
Whilst Jordan's finding his way to the stream, let's have a word with Shane if we can, as Shane's the ride leader for today.
Yes, yeah. I can indeed. Let me start. Unmute Shane.
So Shane, welcome to the stream. We're just watching you cruising along on your white Zwift bike. There's a big beacon across over your head. Can you just explain what your role is today, mate, with the group, what you've done to set this up?
Yeah, so basically I'm going to be the ride leader tonight, so it's a case of setting up a meet-up on Zwift where you can invite up to 50 people. You pick the course, pick the route, ask those people to join, and it means you can all join out and ride together. So it's a good way of riding with friends or training as a team. Beacon above my head just tells everybody they need to stay with me, which are doing very well at the moment. So yeah, it's a good little way of training together, allowing people to ride together virtually. But obviously in the current climate we can't do it outside, so yeah, that's about it really.
Great stuff. You've done a great job as a ride leader. I've now got the stream up, so I can now see everybody doing quite a heavy warm up to this flat ride on Zwift. Just the so should I go into explaining Zwift now, Rob?
Yes, mate, go ahead. So this is a game called Zwift. It's a training aid called Zwift, isn't it, Jordan?
Yes. Yes, I guess now you'd also almost call it its own sport. The premise of Zwift is that it's cycling, but inside. So every time one of our team is pedaling, as you can see in the small boxes in the bottom left of the screen, it projects an avatar. So it's really revolutionised the way that we train, particularly in winter when people don't ride outside. People now race and train to very high intensities without actually moving anywhere. So a really big growing virtual community where every turn of the pedals from our team inside projects the avatar forward depending on how hard they're pedaling. So the harder they pedal, the faster their avatar will move. So as you can see on the screen, they're travelling at 24 miles per hour and 200 watts. So if someone was to go faster than, say, 300 watts, they would go even quicker than they are now.
Fantastic. And there's a couple of different ways of getting on to Zwift, isn't there? There's a complete bikes that link you up to Zwift, or you can take your own bike off. We've got some riders that are going to talk about their setups, haven't we, Jordan?
Yes. We're actually quite fortunate today that we've pretty much every setup going across the team tonight.
Who would you like to unmute first, mate?
Should we talk to Shane about his setup, as he's currently unmuted?
Sorry, say me?
I know that he's got... Yeah, I know that you've got one of the more interesting setups of the team tonight. You're using a watt bike, I believe.
Yeah, so I use a watt bike Atom. So has an iPad that's fitted to the front, with obviously Zwift installed on an iPad. It connects via Bluetooth to the watt bike, and it gives me full control. So if we're going up a hill, up a gradient, my trainer automatically adjusts for that hill. Same as if we're going downhill. So it's a good workout. That's very true to, or as true as you can get really to ride on the real road that you're in terms of gradient and the effort you have to put in.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about Zwift, isn't it? Is the fact that whilst the motivation of just looking at numbers that used to be what riding indoors is all about, you've got a road and a course to follow.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. You've got various different courses you can choose. Obviously, you can race, just do a free ride, or do what we're doing tonight and just ride with others that you know. So it's a good platform.
Indeed. We're doing the London course today, aren't we? The flat London course. One of very many courses available on Zwift. You can go through volcanoes, under the sea, or around Buckingham Palace, which we'll be coming to at some point during this group ride.
Yeah, it's good to me. There's plenty of variety in terms of courses. We've gone for a fairly flat one. Tonight I know some of the lads have been training hard the last couple of days, so it should be relatively easy for the guys that have been training hard for the season. Not quite so easy for me.
Well, that brings us on to quite a good talking point. So obviously a lot of our goals this year have been disrupted somewhat. What were your goals for this year, and how have they changed now?
For me, my goal really was just to try and be competitive at Cat 3 really, and help the rest of our stronger Cat 3 riders try and get to Cat 2. So for me, I wasn't expecting great things really, but I'd like to have competed and helped out our really good threes that I think would have made it to 2 this season.
Fantastic. Who should we talk to next, Rob?
Shall we go to Barry, mate? Because Barry's on a different setup. He's not on an actual bike. He's on his own bike, and he's taken the back wheel off, hasn't he?
He has indeed, and Barry's obviously a very interesting person to talk to because of his range of goals he's had this year. How's it going, Barry?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, enjoying the ride so far.
Yeah. It's everyone's staying together nice as a group. So are you feeling the drafting that comes with?
Yeah, there is a draft effect on Zwift, which is quite interesting. That as a real ride, you sit behind somebody, you have to pedal slightly less than if you were at the front of the group. So yeah, you do get a bit of a toe effect.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about your setup because this might help with my next question. So you're riding on your own bike, but you've adapted it a little bit.
Yeah, so at the moment I've got my time trial bike and using a smart turbo trainer. It's called a direct drive, so take the rear wheel off the bike and then the cassette all set up on the turbo trainer. The turbo trainer essentially activates on that wheel. So when you pedal, that power goes through the turbo trainer and then broadcast on Bluetooth to my laptop. It tells me how much power I'm putting out, then tells the gauge how fast I'm going. So, as before, when you hit an incline, the turbo trainer adds a bit more resistance to make it feel like you're going up the hill. You've got to pedal a bit harder. Right, it's
Indeed, it does.
a bit easier to go downhill, like we are now.
Yes, and the pace has certainly ramped up a bit. We're now going 30 miles an hour, which is probably quicker than the speed limit off that road in real life.
With a lot less traffic as well.
Yeah.
A lot less traffic, no traffic on Zwift, which is obviously one of its great benefits because it's a lot of beginner cycling. For all cyclists really, there can be moments when the roads are a little bit not as pleasant as they could be, and Zwift provides a real traffic-free training environment. Talking of different environments, Barry, we're going to talk about your goals. What were your goals for 2020 and how they've now changed?
So, well, my goal for 2020, I was very lucky to be given a place on the Transcontinental race, which is a 2,500 mile self-supported race across Europe. So, your route planning, your food stocks, everything is down to you as a rider. You carry everything you need on the bike. You stop as little or often as you want. But there's an overall classification, which I was looking to get on the GT, finishing in about 2 weeks. So the winners will do it in about 10 days, I think. But sadly due to the current climate, it's had to be postponed. So now 2021 is my goal. To train it really full consistent, just really, really long riding. Got 200 mile rides, something like that. So during the event, I'll be looking to do anywhere up to 14 or 16 hours a day on the bike. Very little sleep and food stops.
Fantastic. And it's good that you've still got something to train for, because the length of the event, you need to be training for. Well, you need all the mileage you can get in the legs as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. So Zwift really helps with that. If I can't justify going out for 4 or 5 hour bike rides at the moment, so it's quite handy to do a shorter ride out on the road, and then I can do it as much as I want on Zwift. It's really handy for that.
So I can just see we're coming up to a sprint in a little while. So sprinting is one of the great, one of the great spectacles of cycling, and it's one of the things I enjoy the most about cycling, sprinting for the line. So you'll notice that the watts will suddenly increase as everybody goes for the sprint, and they'll be trying to push out as many watts as possible, because the difference to really win at Zwift is have a very good watts per kilo. So you divide the amount of watts you're putting out through the pedals by your weight. So whoever produces the most watts per kilos is likely to win the sprint. So keep an eye out for that number. That is the number just underneath the rider's name on the right hand side. And you should see everybody rapidly accelerate at some point in the near future. And we'll just watch the sprint play out.
It's just jumped off on the left. Whereabouts are they, guys? Have they gone across the line yet?
They should.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. They're just sorry about that.
This is a little anomaly with Zwift. If you click off on the wrong rider, it sometimes loses the group, and you'll see this sometimes in races, televised races. That happens. It's really frustrating.
But but it really just goes to show just how big the community is, and just how long it's taken to find the group. And you also saw somebody running. Zwift is also a great training tool for all triathletes. You can't go swimming on Zwift yet, but you can also go for a run using things called run pods. I've done before. I've gone running on Zwift, and it's as good as I think. If not, it's certainly different. You're going much slower, but the high intensity that you train at is certainly replicated on the running and the cycling side. So whilst we're finding the group, shall we talk to Kyle about how to really maximise in terms of coaching?
Yeah, Kyle. So you we've got back to you now. You'll be pleased to know you own Crown Coaching, don't you? You coach quite a few of our riders, and so we just want from you really any tips you've got to riders that might be thinking about they're quite keen at cycling, and how can Zwift aid them to coach themselves better and stronger riders by the end of this?
Zwift is a brilliant platform. I've been using it for probably about must be 3 years now, since the very start when it was in its early days, and even then it had training plans, and the training plans are absolutely brilliant. If you're a new rider, you want to try and increase fitness, there's a test for you. If you're a seasoned amateur, either time trialist or road racer, again there's training plans for you. And if you don't like training plans that they provide, part of the package, you can build your own, which is what I do. I build my sessions for my athletes in Training Peaks. It's another software for coaches, and the next day when their training session comes up, automatically drops into Zwift. They're a member of Zwift, and they can go off and do the training I set them. Quite a lot of my athletes do that. They find it very easy to just log on in the morning when they're having a training session. The training session I've created for them there, and they can do it in the fun fitness environment that Zwift is.
Fantastic. So, what would you say? A lot of people have started cycling during these unprecedented times. What advice would you have to people who are just getting into road cycling?
Well, my background is I'm constantly quite new to cycling as well. I only started in 2012 after I saw the Olympics. And I've done sport before. I needed something that fits around my family life and my work. And cycling was ideal. And then when Zwift came along, you can jump on, you can do a hard, intense hours session, and that's enough to not only keep your fitness up, also to improve your fitness. Which the benefits of that are widely documented. It's brilliant for your cardiovascular system, your heart. It's brilliant for longevity of your lifespan. You live longer. And it also keeps the pounds off. Because obviously the society you live in today, we're busy people. We need stuff quick. And unfortunately, the side effect of that is we can, not all of us, but we can eat badly. But timed with a good training plan or session on Zwift also burns those calories to keep that weight down.
Yeah, and important to keep their weight down, particularly on Zwift, because as you mentioned before, the watts per kilograms. Is there anything you want to add about that and why it's so important?
Well, I think your watts per kilogram is your own personal thing, really. It's the amount of watts you put out, the kilogram of weight that you are. Now, everyone has different watts per kilogram. I'd have a certain watts per kilogram, which would be different to you because we both weigh different, and our biological makeup is different as well. But with the watts per kilogram, you can actually use that as a training form to try and increase your fitness. You can try and put out bigger watts for the weight that you are. But also, you can work that to actually drop your weight, and you can get a happy medium. I don't think there's a right and a wrong watts per kilo. You can just, like anything, improve your watts per kilo. So instead of putting out 3 or 4 watts per kilo, you might do on a training session, after a couple of weeks progressing the training, you can end up putting out about 3. And it does come on that quickly sometimes. Along with FTP, which is a whole different story, which we won't go into now. But
No.
It's a good thing to concentrate on.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully that has helped a lot of our viewers who may be viewing Zwift for the first time, or indeed for the 100th time, like I am. And it's really good that we have Kyle on the team. He certainly helps a lot of our team progress. A lot of his coach riders last year went towards Cat 3, and some have even said time trial is done the other things. He certainly will assist the team.
That's right. There's quite a few people use him. We've had a first question in. How many riders are on? That's from Adam. How many riders have we got on today?
We have got 10 riders riding, if I can count correctly. We're all working as a call it a breakaway. They have no regroup actually. So they are working as a group doing a bit of going off. So it's yeah. Sorry, I understand.
And Jack says, "Oh hi, hello Jack. Thanks for watching. Let us know if you've got any questions you want to ask."
So should we talk about our rising star in the group now?
That's a good shout, mate. So we'll head over to see it's Barry with Mac, but Mac is 13 years old, believe it or not.
Yes, and I keep bumping into him and giving out prizes to him in the Southern XC mountain bike cross country races. One of the great things about cycling is there's many disciplines, and Mac so far seems to excel at all of them. You see he's keeping up with people, some of them treble his age, if not more, at the moment. And he raced a lot of cyclocross to great success. And he's currently putting out a significant, whilst it's probably more than than a lot of other people at his age could do. So and it's really great to have him on the team. In fact, he won the group private last week, and it goes to show that our team really does cater well for everyone from all backgrounds and all ages, and it's something that we really aim to do. And probably our utmost variety, actually, is if you're not having fun and you're not being inclusive, then you're not really a great team, are you? So it's great to see him smiling as he puts out a significant pain on the rest of the group now, just looking at the screen there.
Yeah, watching back the race last, it turned into a race, didn't it? It was supposed to be a social ride, it ended up in a race, and Mac absolutely smashed it, didn't he? The orange numbers everywhere, lots and lots of watts per kilogram. He's a slight man, slight young lad, but he has a lot of watts, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's probably still in cyclocross bike, because he's a completely different setup altogether to the setups we've mentioned so far. Because cyclocross is where you take a road bike, so a drop handlebar bike, and you race it across mud, over hurdles, up steep banks, down steep banks, sometimes through sand, and then occasionally you get a bit of respite and you race on the road. And that can all be in the space of a 3 kilometre lap. So in terms of bike handling skills, he's right up there as well.
There's another question from Adam. How far are we riding? Do you know that, Jordan, or do we have to go to Shane to answer that question? What do you think?
I think it might be worth getting Shane to add that. He's the group leader, so I think it's only fair that we get him back involved. I'll just quickly unmute him so you can help us answer that question.
Yeah, so this group ride is scheduled for 35 minutes. So you can organise it by distance or by time. So this one's done by time. So after 35 minutes, meet-up will be cut. So if guys want to carry on riding, they can do. But the meet-up will finish at 35 minutes.
And that's really, as we've mentioned a couple of times before, in our very busy lives, one of the things about Zwift is you can go on for as long or as short as you want, and 35 minutes, these guys still would have got a very good workout. Going at the speeds and putting out the power they would have done, you've certainly burnt up a Mars bar. And it's a really great training tool. And do the racing, I'm sure, as we get even more slicker with this, we'll be commentating on some of the guys you see today, putting their watts per kilo against people from local clubs in the country and possibly internationally, because there's so many different categories of races. It really is a global community we're currently riding on. So we're just approaching the last 5 minutes of the ride. I think this will probably end in quite an intense sprint, particularly as some guys, I look through the windows here, are barely breaking a sweat, whilst others seem to be a bit more in the hurt house. And that is one of the difficulties with Zwift, is actually keeping cool. Because you are riding indoors, so you don't have the air resistance, and it's amazing just what difference it does make having the wind in your face or behind you when riding. A lot of people have fans, so having a real good pain cave, as you can see in the background of some of these some of the shots here. People do take this very, very seriously, to the point that we now have a national championships in e-racing on Zwift, which is probably something that may turn into the Tour de France, the Giro d'Italia, and all the other key races this year. They may all be done virtually. We had one of the classics was recreated on Zwift just the other week, and a couple of hours earlier there was part of the a stage of the well, there's been a stage race all week on Zwift, which has been participated by some of the stars of cycling all around the world.
And that's something we hope to bring you in the future, isn't it? Well, our team are quite busy on Zwift racing, and we're hoping to be able to bring you streams of our riders in races and hopefully see them across the finish line, and might hopefully replace the lack of cycling related live events if we can hopefully bring you some Zwift racing and get you into Zwift racing.
We absolutely will try to do that. It's very exciting actually when it gets towards the end, because it takes out some of the technical skills involved. It really is about how much you can put through the pedals. So it levels the playing field in a lot of ways. Particularly as it doesn't really matter what equipment you have either. It's literally how hard you can push the pedals. So it's a real great leveler and very, very, very competitive. Should we mention some of the? I think we've probably mentioned the sponsors, as we've only got a couple of minutes left of the ride, so I'll quickly go through those. We're very fortunate to have a great group of sponsors involved who have been very good through this time, helping support us. You've got the Clare Group, Aston Martin Birmingham, the Athlete Centre, who've put us through some out of this world pain this winter to help achieve our goals. Love Beer, one of my personal favourite sponsors. R&R, one of my favourites. They're great smoothies. They're a little cafe, well, not a little cafe, but they are a very, very good cafe in Abingdon. They're all good group rides from start and finish. And then, of course, we have Oxford Products here, who help the team with accessories and kits, and are often known to turn up and join in at races.
Fantastic, thank you, Jordan. I think the riders are gonna just start to cool down in a bit. They're just going up the last little incline for there might be a sprint around the corner. Is that correct?
I do indeed think there may be the last 30 seconds of this group ride will probably turn into a tremendous sprint. This is where my favourite bit is normally where I try and get towards the middle part of the bunch. There's a little bit of hustle and bustle in real life as you try and fetch the wheel grab hold of the wheel that you think is going to project you towards the finish line. In Zwift you don't have that, so now it will be everybody really raring up to have a massive 30 seconds of effort.
As the mere mention of sprint, and off they go. There's Jack, there's Cam with 12.9 watts per kilogram. Yeah, they are really trying to make amends for what happened last time.
Yeah, and the young Mac is not going to take this one from them. But he's coming back a little bit. Yeah.
No, well done everybody. That was a good ride, and as ever it turned into a smash fest at the end. So yeah, thank you for watching our stream and joining in on the questions. We'll hope to see you next time. As I say, we're going to bring you some more social rides and hopefully some racing as well when the team are in races. So we'll stay tuned to our social media and social media streams there, and we will be posting when our next rides are. So thank you for joining us, and see you soon.
See you soon.